today. Let me see what we're looking at today. What I want. Feels hotter than that. It's 77 degrees right now here in the Carolinas, and but it feels a whole lot hotter than that. Um, got a quick run I got to do up to the tail of the dragon, and I'm contemplating if I'm going to do a camp out. So I may leave out tonight, get there tonight, and camp out. So, uh, hooking up the old trusty. You can't see, can you? Well, you still can't see, but that's okay. Hooking up the camper, and gonna take it out here for a little bit. I got a couple things I gotta do. I'll deliver some parts to my mechanic, doing some work on Big Frida, and so we got to get him those parts. And I figured I'd go ahead and do this test run with this camper. I took it out the other day because I know I'm going to be doing some camping here now that the wife is out of work for the summer, and um, and so whenever she comes with me, I can't do the trailer camping. I got to pull the camper, and which is fine. And so anyway, I took it out the other day, doing the test ride with it because for those of you out, that's hot. For those of you who do not know, um, let me see if I can give you a quick preview. For those of you who do not know, I recently switched over to the dark side, and dark side is simply a car tire on a motorcycle. I love it so far. Make sure you subscribe. So what I've been doing is you got to get your pressure right. See something here. Sorry about that, guys. But so anyway, when I put the car tire on the motorcycle, what I ended up getting was a little wobble once I got up to about 85, 90 miles an hour. And there's a lot of brothers who run dark side who says you got to break in the tire, break it in, which I did. And then once you break it in, um, you got to get your tire pressure right. I was running it at 40. Somebody told me to bump it up to 45 for the first, I think it said 100 or 200 miles, which I did, and then let it back down to your desired pressure. Okay. So I did that, dropped it back down to 40, and I was still getting a slight wobble uh, once I hit about 90, and I was advised to drop it even lower. A lot of guys run in dark side. Their sweet spot is usually right around 32 to 38. I dropped mine down to 38, and I'm able to get 100 miles an hour with no wobble. But it's different once you add the trailer weight on it. So when I took the trailer out the other day, she was all over the place at about 50, 60 miles an hour. So I'm gonna pull it right now and see how she's doing. Get up to some highway speeds here in a little bit. Yeah, you can see it in the back right there, and see what she does. If I can't get her up to about 100 without her wanting to walk back there, then I'm gonna have to do something else, uh, which would probably be to check my balancing. Uh, the shop that put it on was familiar with putting car tires on motorcycles. He's done a few of those. He works on a lot of Hondas. A lot of gold wingers uh, run dark side. You got some guys on Harleys like myself that are doing it, but it's a little bit more common on the gold wing side, on the Honda side, for whatever reason. And so Anyway, I enjoy it so far. A lot of people ask me how is it in the curves. It's just the same as the car tire, to be honest with you. Stopping is much better. Um, it just feels good. I like it. And as a matter of fact, we're about to hit some real good curves. This route that I'm taking to get over to my mechanic um, takes me right. I can't remember the name of that road to save my backside, but for whatever reason, I always forget it. It'll come to me after a while. I crashed on that road a few years ago. I was actually riding the Fat Boy, and I had just picked up the Fat Boy from my uncle, and was really used to my street glide. I had a street glide at the time. It was set up a whole lot different than the Fat Boy. The Fat Boy's lowered, and it's just a different ride. And but I don't think that really contributed to the crash. What really happened was I know that road to. Well, that's a really nice little bike right there. Little sports to set up real nice. I've rode that road several times, and I know it for the curves, right? But it had been a long time since I've been on that road, and so I'm coming down the road. What's the name of that road? We'll talk about this camper here in a little bit, guys. But I'm coming down the road, and I hit the first curve, the second curve. They're really nice curves, and come up out of it, and just wasn't aware, forgot about that third curve. I think it was the third or fourth curve, and before you know it, guys, yeah, I was leaning it, and again, the Fat Boy is lowered, and it's got wide floorboards, and those floorboards dug into the pavement, which made me, flip over the other way kind of thing, and sent me over the handlebars and everything, man, down a ravine. Thank God the bike didn't go down with me. It stayed up top. It was probably about 9 o'clock at night, summertime, beautiful night, and yeah. So that's the way that ride went on this road that we're about to go on, and but it's a real cool road to ride. I ride it quite a bit, and stuff like that happens, guys. We just you just got to be careful, stay vigilant, stay alert. And so we've got the camper back here, and a lot of times people ask me, how is it pulling a camper? And to be honest with you, man, it's straight. Um, so I've got a 2019 Road Glide Special. It has the 114 on it, which is plenty of power to pull it. And once you're going, you don't even really notice that it's back there. It's real easy to forget it's back there. I get ready to make maneuvers and be like, "Oh snap! You got that camper back there, bro. You can't take that. That can't take that." And on the takeoff, you definitely know it's back there. I'm not gonna blow smoke where smoke ain't supposed to go. You can feel that weight back there, especially this camper. Now I've got a few other trailers that I pull from time to time. Um, One of them I usually pull it. I put like my tools and stuff in it if I'm going to do some side work or something, and I pull it, and with the tools in it, it gets a little heavy, a little weight back there. But by far the camper is it's larger and it's heavier. But they all pull well. So once you're going, you're going with no issues. On the takeoff, you just got to take off knowing that you got extra weight back there. Can't be trying to gun it. I will say when we went to California, I had the trailer, not the camper. We had the trailer loaded down. I'm trying to remember how much that thing weighed in. I think it probably weighed in at about 400 pounds or something like that. I'm trying to remember. I think it was something like that. Uh, don't quote me on that, but I know it was loaded, and we had everything. Had all kind of gear, kit, you know, uh, everything. We wanted to be prepared. We wanted to have everything we thought we would need on the trip, and we were out there for about a good 2 weeks or more. And so, I had a whole bunch of gear and luggage and stuff. And so, boom, we're headed west, and we were supposed to meet up with Country on the way through Phoenix. And by the time we got to Phoenix, he was tied up. As a matter of fact, he was across town helping one of his club brothers take care of some stuff, and so he wasn't able to meet with us at the time we were there. So we ended up catching him on the way back from California. And so as we're leaving California, we're about through. about to hit Phoenix, so I hit him up like he told me to. Yo, what up, country? We passing through, and so we meet him at the exit. You know, we gas up and we take off, and he's got I can't remember the name of the bike he had, the purple one or whatever it was, but man, dude took off, and I'm like, dang. So I ain't gonna let nobody leave me in the dust like that. That just ain't how it works, you know. So I got the wife on the back, I got the trailer hooked up, and I got no choice but to gun it. So I'm riding it like I ain't got her on it or the trailer. And so old Ruby Red, she handled it, man. She pulled it with no problem. And we hit triple digits, no cap, because Country was moving that road glide. And I was gonna be doggone if I let him, just leave me like that. So, yeah, so we made it do what it do, and but it was a good ride, man. That was Buffalo Shoals Road. That's the name of the road. So if you're in the Statesville area, or if you ever cut through here, Buffalo Shoals Road is a really nice ride. You take this all the way out almost to Denver, takes you out by the water and everything. It's a real beautiful ride, and sometimes I'll just take that ride because it's just so beautiful and so peaceful, and plus you get all these curves and everything too. But yeah, man, you mess around and get to riding with that camper back there or the trailer, and you won't even realize it's back there. The only time you have to be um, aware is on the takeoff. You don't want to burn up your clutch or your transmission, so you want to just take off with a little bit of common sense. And then when you're stopping, you got that extra weight back there, so you gotta give yourself a little bit more leeway for time to stop. And but other than that, man, it's Gucci. And so anyway, of course, I'm just cruising right now because I'm running my chops. After I drop this part off, I will probably hit the interstate heading back home, just so I can get up to highway speed to see how it's gonna pull. So, so before I change the PSI, she was all over the place. Even at like 50, I'm at 60 now, and well 55 and fifth gear. So far so good. I think it was definitely the tire pressure that needed to be adjusted. Theoretically speaking, if it takes it out when I'm riding by myself, it should work the same with once I hook up the trailer. And actually, we turn it off before I hit those curves. So when I come back, I'm gonna go that way, hit the curves, and take you guys with me if I'm still recording, which I probably will. I just got to drop this part off to Roger real quick. So I'm kind of careful when I'm on my takeoff because I had an issue. I was I don't know, maybe last year, year before last, I was out and about. Matter of fact, I had went to check Kodak, and on the way back, I want to say he was at Raging Bull. I went to see him up there in Durham. I think it might have been. But anyway, on the way back, I said I'm gonna just take all back roads and just avoid the highway. It was a beautiful day. It was actually hot that day, but it was still a beautiful day. And so I'm maybe an hour from the house, and I remember hitting something in the road. I was like, oh snap! And then leave this part here real quick. So I remember hitting something in the road and didn't really think of. Matter of fact, I heard it. It was like bang, and with kind of like a bang and a clink kind of like noise, right? And so I don't know if y'all can see Big Frida or not. Big Frida, my work truck, she getting a little TLC done to her. And but anyway, so I hit something in the road, and I was like, oh snap. And so a few miles down the road, and I was just getting ready to hit the interstate too. That's the beautiful thing, man. I'm glad it happened when it did because the last thing I would have wanted to do was to be on the interstate um, when it happened because what happened was whatever it was that I hit, uh, it punctured my tire. I mean to tell you, it punctured it bad, big old gash. And hold on, guys. And so when I hit it, like I said, it gashed my tire, but I didn't know that, of course. It did more than just gash the tire, though. It caused some other damage. But a few miles down the road, I feel the rear end of my bike feeling kind of weird, and you already know what it is, right? So I pull over, found a safe spot to pull over, check it, and sure enough, my tire was flat. And so there was a gas station literally within a stone's throw. So I said, well, let me go ahead and get over here, and maybe I can fill it up with air, and maybe just, and I'm taking my time, guys, on this turnaround because I'm on gravel, and I definitely don't want to lay down. So I get to the gas station to get some air on it, and of course, you can hear the air coming out in the wheel a little bit, and notice that it was done. And the tire was, man, it was like almost a brand new tire, man. Plenty of life left on the tire. I hate when that happens, man. That happened to me about two or three times already. Almost brand new tire, you mess around and get a big old slash. It ain't even like you can patch a slash. And so whatever it was that I ran over, it punctured the tire. It slashed the tire. It didn't puncture it. It slashed it. And but I think what happened was it caught up in the belt um, because it damaged the pulley, my rear pulley. And so anyway, when I went to get it replaced, the tire replaced, that's when my mechanic was like, "Yo, you got some other problems going on here, Retro." And so anyway, he swears up and down it's because of the trailer that I'm pulling, and I don't. I don't think it's a trailer. I just think it was that incident that caused that extra damage. And so he's like, "You're not supposed to pull anything with that bike," and he just tripping. Like, "Yo, bro, my bike. I've been pulling these campers, nice, and I'm gonna keep on pulling them." But I say all that to say, when I take off, I take off like I got some sense, kind of ease into it, and versus gunning it like you would do when when you don't have a load behind you. A lot of times they talk about the additional weight, but what about the sidecar? There are motorcycles that pull sidecars, and no one ever says anything about the sidecars. And this is a curve right here, guys, where it threw me down the embankment down there over there. I should have stopped, but there's no pull off, so I can't really safely pull off and show you what happened and how it went down, man. It was crazy though. It was crazy. I've been down a few times. I don't want to go down anymore. I think I've been down enough. I don't need to go down anymore. And when I was coming through here and I, lost it back there, speed wasn't a factor. I was getting it. I was coming through here, feeling good and confident in my ride. But speed wasn't a factor though. It was just that um, I thought I was done with the curves, only to see it right. And these curves, they're real quick curves. And when I began to lay it down or lean it, I leaned it too low. Like I said, I had just gotten the Fat Boy and filling it out. My street glide that I was riding at the time that I had then was, yo, this guy's coming in hot as I don't know what. Dang, yo. And so yeah, it is what it is. It happened. Thank God I survived. All right. So, like I said earlier when I first started recording, I'm pulling the camper today to see how she pulls, and so far so good. After making the adjustment, the plan is to take off later on tonight after Bible study, possibly heading up to the Tail of the Dragon, camp out, maybe at Deep Creek. Real nice campsite up there, man. Beautiful campsite, actually. And we used to take the family up there. And we got a lot of memories from going up there, camping out, that we still laugh about to this day. So, ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, get out, live life, make memories. They're important, very important. I wonder if the wife could go hop on her bike and we ride out and grab some breakfast. It's actually lunchtime now. Um, I don't have a busy day today. I do have some stuff I could do, and maybe that's what I ought to do: go home and get that stuff done. All right, if I'd have kept straight, we'd have went all the way down by the water and everything. It's real beautiful. But again, this was just a test ride. Thank you for pressing play and riding with me as we, you know, make it do what it do. I did not get up this morning to do a show in the studio, and so I figured I'd go live and chit chat with those who want to press play and see what your boy was up to. I was so frustrated on yesterday when I went live because it wouldn't stream to my page, and it was just all kind of issues, man. So I'm not gonna. I didn't bother getting up this morning to uh, fool around with it because I didn't want to lend any energy to it. Real talk, and I'll deal with that tomorrow. Well, actually, I won't deal with that tomorrow because I'll be on the road. So I'll probably do a live from the bike tomorrow, tomorrow morning, or from the campsite. It just all depends. But I'll holler at you tomorrow for sure, no doubt, no doubt at all. What are you doing on today? What kind of plans you got? Absolutely beautiful day, 79 degrees. So from the time I left the house till now, we've already jumped 2 degrees warmer, and it's going to continue to climb up into the low 80s. I know for sure. Me and the wife was out last night, and we was watching a couple movies in the backyard on the little patio area, and it was just absolutely beautiful. We were out there all night, and just kind of looking up at the sky, and the stars were so bright, and we were just sitting there admiring the beautiful night. And then we looked up, and I pointed out, I said, "Wow, look how clear the sky is right here, and over there you can see the clouds." And it was just a few moments, and the next, the clouds just rolled in, and the whole sky was just covered. Then after a while, they rolled on out. But it was a beautiful night last night. We sat there on the patio and just, like I said, watched a couple movies, and so it was a beautiful man. Beautiful. And so the plan is to get up into the mountains later on tonight. Could either leave out tonight or early in the morning, and I'll sort that out once I get back to the house, make a couple calls to the campsite, and see what's going to be the best plan of action. But we definitely have to get to Tail of the Dragon tomorrow. There's a group that we got to meet there. We are going to hand deliver some patches. This particular group, they're from out of Virginia, and they recently completed the Virginia Four Corners. Off the top of my head, I think it was 5 or 6 of them. And so, for those of you who do not know, we have initiated Mission 448, where we are after the four corners of each of the lower 48 states. I personally have only done a few. I've done Florida, North Carolina, Georgia, Ohio, um, and so I got to get going and knock out some of these others. We've got folks like Tin Man, Old School, Highway Trade. We got Big Frizz, Kodak the Ground Pounder, Levi. Who else? We got, did I say Nomad? Yeah, I think I mentioned him. Um, and we got Piper. She knocked out the Pennsylvania Four Corners. We've got her patch. I got to get that delivered to her as well. So what we're doing is we are hand delivering these patches. Uh, so our plan, our goal is our aim is to make sure none of these patches are delivered via mail. So if you have done any of the four corners, you are eligible to become a an ambassador. for Mission 448, which simply means, case in point, let's say Piper, Tamika Wade. Let's say, because she completed Pennsylvania. Now, she's busy. She's always on the road. She's always on the go, making it do what it do, out there riding her scoop. And so she may not have time or even a desire, you know what I mean? But should she decide, and when you fill out the registration, there is a link where you can, I should say a link, there's a box where you can check whether or not you're interested in being an ambassador. And so the ambassadors will help us to get the patches delivered. The last four corners we did was Ohio. Shout out to Nick, Meso. I can't forget Meso. He knocked out the four corners as well. Frank, Mike. It was five of us, man. We had a great time. We knocked out the Ohio four corners in one day. Um, and if you're going to do Ohio, I would recommend that you also do the triple nickel while you're there. Take 2 days, even though it could be done in one day. Don't do it in one day. Take at least 2 days to do it. You'll enjoy it much better. Um, but so if you are willing to be an ambassador, you have to first complete the four corners, uh, and then I will deliver you the patches. So that way, when the next person does your state, you can then just choreograph it so that you can meet up with them at a you know agreed upon location and hand deliver them their patches. So that's what the ambassadors are where they come in play, where they help out. Um, so if you have not done the four corners of your state, consider doing it. North Carolina, absolutely beautiful. You got the beaches and you got the mountains. You know, we did it in 2 days, seven of us when we did it, and absolute spectacular ride. Um, and I want to say that the beach was as nice as the mountains, but I think I enjoyed the mountains more. The beach was breathtaking. It really was. You know, when we got ready to when we got to Kitty Hawk, we actually stayed in Kill Devil's Hill, and the hotel was right on the beach. I mean, it was you couldn't ask for a better stay, man. It was just beautiful. The company was great, and um, and so we stayed there, and we got there before nightfall, and then we went at a local restaurant to eat. Had a good time, man. Then we got some sleep. Got up in the morning, uh, had a word of prayer. See, for us, when we started the Mission 448, it was a ride for Kingdom Alignment Motorcycle Ministry, an opportunity for the members to feel accomplished, to do something that was worth doing, and just feel good about it. And we created the patch, NC Four Corners patch, and it was such an experience. Um, I was just led not to stop with North Carolina, so that's when we came up with Mission 448, and so we prayed at each corner. So for us, we're a motorcycle ministry, Kingdom Alignment Motorcycle Ministry. It's more than just collecting miles for us. Okay, our mission statement is to encourage and nourish a love for motorcycling and a respect for the motorcycle community, while at the same time exemplifying the love of Christ, leading souls to the kingdom 1 mile at a time. And so for us, it was more than just getting out there and riding our motorcycle. It was a time to hear from God and to get clear instruction for our assignment, because God has an assignment for kingdom alignment. Trust and believe. And so the Bible tells us to lean not to our own understanding, but in all of our ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct our path. And so while we were doing the four corners of North Carolina, we were also uh, hearing from God. And He spoke to us specifically in each corner. The first one was Wilmington. He spoke to us about being willing in Wilmington. We got to Kill Devil's Hill, Kitty Hawk area, and you already know what it is. We had to come against some devils. And you got to realize that death and life is in the power of the tongue, and He has given us power to tread on scorpions and demons and devils and all that stuff. And so, open your mouth and speak life. I'm gonna hop on this interstate real quick. So we left there, and the third corner for North Carolina, as in the way that we did it, because when you do these four corners, you don't have to do it the way we do it. You just have to hit each corner. So for us, it was Wilmington first, then Kill Devil's Hill, um, and then we went on to Sparta. And the word that he spoke to us was we're gonna have to fight like warriors. Sparta, remember the movie Sparta? Fight like okay, but for real, because we wrestle not against flesh and blood, and so I don't know, guys. She still don't feel real solid. I'm doing 65 right now, and nah, I don't like it. I don't like it. I do know this happened to me once before, and what ended up happening was the way I loaded the camper, because the camper opens without unfolding, and it has storage beneath, and yeah, and so I had to shift the stuff that was in there, and it took out the wobble. So this wobble very well may not be a result of my car tire, but the way that the camper is loaded, period. So I'm doing 70 right now, and I'm not going to go any faster until I get off at this next exit. And then I'll have to play around with the weight inside. But anyway, back to what I was saying about the four corners, and that's what the Lord spoke to us, and we shared that. So at each stop, we just had a word. I would just share with the group what God was saying in my spirit, and it was confirmation for those that was with us. God just really spoke, man. It was powerful, to say the least. And so that was it, man. Sparta, you're gonna have to fight. You see, here's the deal, folks. God can promise you something, but just because it's promised you doesn't mean you're not gonna have to fight for it. The devil comes to steal, to kill, and to destroy. You know what I mean? He walks about as a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. And so it's yours, yeah. The blessing is yours. It's got your name on it and all that good stuff. You still got to fight. Yeah, every day is a fight. And then the last corner was Murphy, which was the most challenging part of the trip. Oh my goodness. We got there after midnight, pitch black, coming up that in Murphy during the daytime. Now it was beautiful even at night. The biggest part for me was, I had like six folks behind me, and so I realized that riding that mountain itself is a challenge. And then under the disguise of night, come on, man, it makes it even more challenging. So as a leader, I'm concerned about those behind me, and I was constantly in my mirrors making sure, counting headlights, and so it was kind of intense, and but it was still beautiful at the same time. It really was, man. But we was coming up that mountain, man, and it was just wow. And so I strongly recommend doing it at during the day if you can at all. Um, as versus doing it at nighttime. Now, if you're a skilled rider and you don't mind that kind of stuff, then have at it, bro. Have at it, sis. But the Four Corners ride that we are promoting and pushing uh, is for the sake of enjoying the ride. You know what I mean? Enjoying the ride, not rushing it, but just enjoying it. And at nighttime, there's not much you can enjoy as it relates to scenery and stuff. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm a guy who I really do like riding at nighttime, but it's just for the, it's kind of like a serenity, a peace, and it's just kind of, the quietness, and the traffic isn't as much, and the temperatures in the summertime are, cooler, and it really can be an enjoyable ride. But if you're riding in an area where there's scenery to enjoy, you're not gonna really enjoy it at nighttime because you can't see it. So if at all possible when doing any of the four corners, plan it out in a way where you can carve out some time and you don't have to rush. A lot of guys are doing the iron butts. I've done them and everything like that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But this is not that. The four corners sometimes will take you through areas that normally you would not even travel, to get to that far, east corner of your state, and for the most part, it's taking you to nowhere. know, we were mapping out Nevada. Gorilla Blue is gonna be doing that one soon. Matter of fact, I got to reach out to him and double check his launch time, his launch date. But you know, man, up in them corners, man, you know, it's like nothing up in them corners in some of these states. And it's not like you got like Florida where it's like well, if I, off the top of my head, I want to say it's Jacksonville, Miami, um, and then Naples, and then Pensacola. So each of those are well populated areas. So you're not out in the middle of the boonies or anything like that. But when we did Georgia Four Corners, yeah, yeah, we were Georgia was a lot of back roads, like for real, for real. The most interstate we did was when we did the last corner, which was Kingsland. I want to say from Clayton to Kingsland. Uh, we finally, hit some interstate, but shoot, man, it was a whole lot of back road riding for Georgia. But again, that's one of the beauties about the Four Corners rides. It kind of pushes you into areas that normally you're not going to. I mean, let me see, for instance, um, like okay, for the NC Four Corners, um, we had a ground pounder to do it, knock it out, and he was like, "Man, I ain't never been to Sparta. I don't even think they have been to Murphy, because again, those are not areas that you're normally going to frequent. There's no real big draw or attraction up there, but because it's the far corner, you got to hit it. And so the other thing about it is you knock it out and you see that okay, that was cool, and now you can make one of the corners a destination at a later time. So a lot of times you see other people posting destinations and things like that, and that's how you get ideas. So oh, that looks cool. I'm gonna go check that out, and you go check it out, and that's what it's all about. Um, but again, these four corner rides sometimes will put you in a place where you can discover something worth going back to see. And I don't know how it works for everybody else, but for me, when I'm on a ride like that, I got a certain amount of time allocated to do the trip, and so I try to include time for slight deviation if necessary and when necessary. Um, but again, you're still pressing against the clock, working against the clock, right? So you can't really enjoy everything, but you can mark it and be like, okay, yeah, we're gonna have to come back here and check this out. And so, again, for us, we took 2 days to do the four corners. I could take one day and go straight to one corner. Let's just say Murphy, for instance, and so I could get up early tomorrow morning and just go to Murphy. Now I got all day to explore and experience Murphy and whatever it does or doesn't have to offer. You know, and even though a area has nothing to offer per se, sometimes it can really yield some really good riding. I was on my way to Massachusetts one year, and I was going up what I call the back way, 81, and my bike was doing some stuff that was suspect. So I got off in Salem, Virginia, and decided I wasn't gonna finish the trip. There was an accident on the interstate when I got off that had traffic all backed up. It was hot. So I said, you know what? I'm not getting back on the interstate. I'm gonna just ride some back roads until I figure or feel that the traffic is eased up. And then my guess was my thought was I would hop back on at that point. And it ended up being a bunch of back road curves, and man, it was beautiful. And so what I ended up doing was at a later time, I ended up going back just for that area right there. And me and the wife, we got up early one day, and we took off, and yeah, it was beautiful. So there was again a lot of times places don't have much to offer as far as attractions, but you can find some real good riding, man. I absolutely love the curves, and so folks, I want to thank you for pressing play and joining me on this morning. I'm pulling here and check a few things. then get home and see if I can adjust the weight or the load, I should say, whatever, and this here camper. Otherwise, I'll be taking off without the camper, and that's not the plan. So it's your boy Retro, man. Thank you for pressing play. Thank you for being a part of what we got going on here, man. And we will see you guys the next time we go live. God bless you.